We're at Universal Orlando today, and I figured no better time than to go over what we have in our knowledge banks already about the event. And if you stay to the very end of the video, there's actually something I think is pretty cool that we're going to share with you guys. So let's go through the houses that were announced so far. We have Slaughter Cinema 2 was the first house that was announced. Slaughter. I'm going to say slaughter all the time.
New York comes out.
Yeah.
Slaughter.
I'm going to slaughter you in the subway in New York City. As we're giving the rundown of the houses, there is a chef that's walking by over here. Gotta save that lady. She doesn't even know. She doesn't even know. All right, so obviously Slaughter Cinema 2 is a sequel to Slaughter Cinema, which was, I think, 2018. Amazing house. It spawned the Yetis that had 2 of their own houses after that as well. I think just 2 of the houses. I'm totally lost at this point with Halloween Horror Nights because...
so many things that get mixed up.
So, Slaughter Cinema was a favorite of ours a few years back.
Yeah, it was really good.
I think the biggest positive of the Slaughter Cinema stuff is that they're able to take these B-movie or a combination of like batshit ideas and just kind of put them together and have fun with it, because it's as ridiculous as it is, it's really fun and can be scary to walk through.
Oh, yeah.
The second house that they announced was Goblin's Feast, which, you know, to me it sounds like it's probably the humor house of the year. I don't know how you pull off goblins in a really scary way. You go to visit the Goblin's Feast Tavern, which is
Probably
being host to orcs, hobgoblins, and witches.
Yeah, probably could be really
Maybe they'll serve like some goblin mead or beer or something outside. That would be fun.
Oh, that would be pretty cool.
Maybe some evil Shreks. I feel like we might get some reused costumes in that house, because we've had like that kind of swampy type zone in the New York area a couple of times. And yeah, so I kind of feel like that could be like an easy repurpose type of thing, whether it's
what do we have?
set design and more importantly, like the costumes. I feel like we're going to see a lot of the familiar faces in there. Another anticipated house is the Major Sweets Candy Factory.
Yeah.
So that's, I believe it's an actual prequel to the Scare Zone that we had a couple of years ago with Wario kind of menacing everybody in the zone. I hope that they change up Major Sweets' appearance a little bit, because he was really kind of comical.
Yeah.
Overall, though, that zone was amazing. Like the first week and then maybe the first week and a half or 2 weeks of the event, you know, and then after it kind of got a little bit more structured. But the characters that were in that zone were awesome characters. So, I mean, I could see really looking forward to see what they could do as a prequel type thing before they have their celebration and they make it out to the streets. So, definitely one to look out for. The next up is the Museum Deadly Exhibits, and I gotta be honest, like this is probably the lowest on the list for me, you know, hype-wise. Like going to a museum, we had a house a few years ago that was kind of like built off of like the Egyptian times and stuff with the Crocosaurus and stuff like that in there. And I don't know. I feel like
we'll see.
Maybe an Indiana Jones-ish type thing. It doesn't sound all that scary, I guess, maybe unless you have a bunch of like mummies and stuff in there. Maybe some dinosaurs or hybrids would be cool.
Well, maybe they have like, you know, heads in bottles and, you know, stuff like that.
Heads in bottles. The next up is a house that's actually a port over from Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood last year. That was an original out there, and now it's going to be done over here. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with Monsters, the monsters of Latin America.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
The monsters themselves, if you looked them up, you could use your Google machine and type in the Owl Lady. It is a personal favorite of mine. Like I want to see like some of these monsters. I love these cryptids and things like that, and these legends. So a couple of years ago here, we had the Chupacabra and the Fiesta. So I know that they can do set design really well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do at the Monstrous House.
Yeah.
And then the last original house is Triplets of Terror. And I don't know, like if I would say the museum house is the bottom of the list or this is the bottom of the list. This is basically like you're going to see a family celebrate or reenact how they kill the rest of their family. These triplets. Nothing sounds scary when you say triplets. The Triplets of Terror. And the picture that they released was like some bunny masks and stuff where I was like,
We'll see.
So Triplets of Terror, probably lower on the list. I would say the one thing that this house might have going for it is potential gore factor. And the Major Sweets zone had a ton of gore in it also.
Oh, yeah.
So, hopefully like Major Sweets carries over that gore and, gets the gore fans like something to cheer about, as well as like the Triplets of Terror, because if we're talking about reenacting murder scenes, like it sounds kind of ghastly and,
Yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah. Yes, bring the gore. And that's all that they've announced so far, original houses, which I think this is the first time ever they've announced like their slate of originals.
Yeah.
That leaves us 4 IP houses that they haven't announced yet. The next houses that we'll talk about are speculation, but I think you kind of read the tea leaves and maybe think it's probably more than speculation at this point. We're just waiting for the inevitable for things to be announced. And as such, I think the next big house to be announced will be Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Mm-hmm. And I think in the HHN circle, there was talk initially, this would be like Ghostbusters 1 and 2, and maybe some of the new stuff sprinkled in. And I think ultimately the team landed on Frozen Empire to make a house off of the most recent Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah.
And you could tell from Mary, like,
It'll be fun.
yeah,
It's not scary.
it'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we have, sympathetic ghost friends joining the Ghostbusters along the way with
I'd love to
matchbooks.
have lots and lots of Stay Puft little guys.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Are there any scary parts of Ghostbusters?
I'm trying to think.
I just want Stay Puft little guys.
Yeah. Maybe the scariest part of Ghostbusters would be the amount of money that we spend on IP-related items at the Halloween Horror Nights store.
Yes.
So next IP up would be Insidious. Mm-hmm. And I know I always get this thing mixed up with like the other Blumhouse movies because to my head they're all the same. And so we did see the last Insidious movie in the movie theater. It was pretty awful.
I was
just
gonna
be
say
honest.
it wasn't that great.
It was not good.
No, it's progressively getting
Yeah.
from the beginning.
So Insidious House, probably not looking forward to that as much.
I don't know. I like the scary parts,
Unless like the demon is like in that black suit and can jump out from the door, kind of like
that would be awesome.
in Zoolander when he jumps out from the coal mine.
Surprise!
Blah! That would be fun.
That would be fun.
And so probably, I think, in my opinion, the best of the IP houses this year would be A Quiet Place. Mm-hmm. And A Quiet Place, I enjoy that franchise. The new movie looks like it's pretty awesome. I don't know if the house is just going to be based off the new movie or not, but I don't know how that works as a Halloween Horror Nights house either. It's hard to be quiet in a Halloween Horror Nights house when you have those triggers going off at full max volume that you could hear outside of the sound stages or anywhere.
With people screaming and walking through and music playing.
So that's a tough one, although I like the property a lot.
Yeah.
And then the last IP, it's kind of an IP and kind of not. It's the Universal Monsters again. So going in a well one more time, I have a feeling like this Universal Monsters house might kind of be the gateway story into what we'll have put in front of us for the Universal Monsters Land and Epic Universe next year. So I look at that as kind of like the entryway into the story behind the land itself, probably. But that's it. The same show is coming back too. Over in the Bill and Ted Theater. We call it the Bill and Ted Theater because we accept nothing else. No other replacements. But the one other thing I wanted to talk about, they announced this week that Universal is going to offer a premium Scream night, which will be the night before opening night for Halloween Horror Nights. So the Thursday before opening, for anybody that wants to buy a ticket, the event's going to run from 6:30 at night to 2 o'clock in the morning, include all of the haunted houses, all of the scare zones, and I believe the show as well. And the sell point on this is that it's limited capacity. And they didn't qualify what limited capacity is, nor do I expect them to say like a firm number. But I expect it to be in line with what they do for team member preview nights, which is probably like maybe upwards of 10,000 people, which is like half of the capacity for Halloween Horror Nights. So there is like no express for that night, but there is pulsing into the houses. So they're going to let groups go in a time so you get all of the scares. And it also includes unlimited food for what they'll offer. They'll offer a sampling of the dishes that'll be available for Halloween Horror Nights, as well as non-alcoholic beverages.
Didn't they offer like the food thing last year?
Yeah, they offered the food thing last year, and it was a disaster by all accounts, right?
Yeah.
So all of the vloggers and bloggers and people that wanted to be like hashtag first kind of went to the event because they wanted to be able to try out like all of the food items, and it was priced way too high. But initially, it also included alcohol. And when ticket sales weren't going well, they offered a non-alcoholic version. Then they lowered the price, and then they just canceled the event.
Yeah.
When
it only went for like 3 weeks or something.
Yeah,
like
they
that.
canceled the event when people had bought tickets for it and needed to get refunds and everything towards the end because there was such little interest and turnout for it. So I think they learned from that this year, and instead of having multi-nights, like they have one night because they figure everyone needs to try to be first. So, you'll probably get a lot of the familiar faces out there trying to be first.
Yeah.
And outside of being first, there's not a lot of sell to it. It's $350 for non-pass holders and $325 for pass holders. And I know folks are kind of comparing that to buying a regular ticket at the event plus a fast pass or express pass. This is not an express pass. You're waiting in the lines, and the lines are just theoretically shorter because it's like half capacity of the normal event.
Mm-hmm.
Universal has always done the team member night, which is normally like the Wednesday before the event. And it's basically a dress rehearsal, but they have their team members come through and experience everything for the event. That's essentially what this is too. It's basically you're paying to go to a dress rehearsal. And what ends up happening, for those that don't know, usually opening weekend of the event, folks are getting their feet underneath them. They don't do a lot of dress rehearsals leading up to the event. So it's usually like a week before that everyone's kind of getting stuff together, and then they get their approvals from management.
So the actors are not really in swing in the beginning.
They're not in a swing, and some of the times, like, the makeup's not ready yet, or the costumes are not fully ready. I remember even when they did, like, the Vamp Zone a couple of years ago, like, they didn't get their teeth for, like, 2 weeks into the event. Those types of things happen often here, and it's not through any fault of folks. Like, there's grand plans and just, timing needed for certain things, like masks and things. So you might be paying that extra money for kind of an unfinished product and a test run to get into the place. So, I mean, it's obviously up to everybody. I don't think it's worth it for us to go to that. I looked at it as like it's an either-or event. Either you go to that first night and you say like, okay, I did it, and then not buy a ticket and not spend the money for like a hotel for the first weekend and things like that, or you buy the ticket, in our case, to multi-night and potentially go opening weekend and see friends and go in a hotel and stuff. Like, it's $300 is a lot to ask for doing an extra one night when you're going to do the same exact thing the following night.
Yeah.
Plus, that time of year, it's really risky when it comes to rain. Look at opening night for Halloween Horror Nights last year. It was a mess. We had torrential rainstorms and thunder and lightning, and things were delayed and things were flooded out. That could happen after you're spending that extra $300-something and have your streets washed out and things like that, and that's basically it. The next thing you know, the forums will be loaded with people looking for money back.
Yeah.
So in any event, that's what we know so far for Halloween Horror Nights. I'm sure we'll be talking more about it as we get closer to the event. I do want to share with you guys something that I thought was really super cool. The other day, I asked AI to write a song about Halloween Horror Nights for this year and gave it some background information on the houses that are going to be there. In any event, this is the results. I hope you guys enjoy. We'll see you guys in the next video. Treat others where you want to be treated. See you guys.